Greetings, Andy here again, and this video is a sort of bit of a catch-up of live records that I bought over the last certainly last year and maybe 18 months or so. I used to do a sort of periodic 3 live records. I was just selecting 3 out of my collection, but I haven't done that for ages and ages, and in the meantime I've acquired, well, at least 6 that I want to show albums, so I thought, right, it's time to do this now. So here we go. I've got 6 to go through, and it is what have we got here? We got blues rock, we've got a bit of Zamrock, we've got some prog, bit of everything, art rock or stroke Britpop, all sorts of stuff. So let's get cracking. And the first one I'm going to talk about is one I bought, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago, and it is Jimmy Page and the Black Crowes live at the Greek. So this is a 25th anniversary issue of following the Black Crowes playing with Jimmy Page on a tour, and this was at the Greek Theatre in LA, and they're sort of doing a mixture of Black Crowes songs and also Led Zeppelin songs. So this is a double album. Obviously, it's not the whole show, but it covers some interesting tracks from both of them. So you've got Custard Pie, Sick Again, No Speak, No Slave, Wanton Song, Misty Mountain Hop, Hots on the Nowhere, Wiser Time, 10 Years Gone, In My Time of Dying, Remedy, In the Light, Hey Hey What Can I Do, She Talks to the Angels, Nobody's Fault My Mind, and finishes on, of course, Whole Lot of Love. There they are, 25 years ago on stage, and it's a fabulous album, as you would expect from a combination of Jimmy Page and the Black Crowes. Double black vinyl. This one I've mentioned on another video ages ago, but didn't really go into it, and it's one I picked up on Record Store Day, and it is Yes. And live at the Rainbow in London, the date's all wrong. December 1972. I was just thinking, well, what month is the 16th? And it is a cracker. I mean, it's obviously the classic lineup. It must be after the release of Close to the Edge. Which is widely considered to be the greatest prog album ever, and it's got all it's Siberian Catru, I've Seen All Good People, Heart of the Sunrise, and You and I, Close to the Edge, and excerpts from the 6 Wives of Henry VIII, which was obviously Wakeman's solo album, and by far and away his best. Roundabout, Yours Is No Disgrace, and Starship Trooper. Absolutely fabulous live record. It's a triple, and so it's a full length. My most recent acquisition I bought primarily because the prices dropped. I was sort of looking for in the sale, and this was one of them which came up recently in the last month, and it is Blur. And live at Wembley Stadium. The concert, I think it was July, but summer anyway, of 2023, so 2 years ago. Then about a year ago, they released this album, and it was sort of like 55 quid or something ridiculous like that. It is a triple, but it's recently the price has dropped, so this was sort of like 34 quid or 35, which I thought was reasonable for a treble album, and it's got all their sort of best of in there. It's got the full, I can't do this without it all falling apart, so I won't go through the whole list, but it really is a live best of. It's a reunion one. It's got all their best tracks on there from the best albums, and finishes on what I think is their finest track, The Universal. It's absolutely fabulous, and I enjoyed this so much. I bought the the Blu-ray, because I do like to watch a live concert, and it is fabulous. This wasn't very expensive, just picked it up on Amazon, and it is incredible, absolutely tremendous album. Now, I often mention my subscriptions. You know, sort of every month when I do my new music, there's usually one from the Rough Trade sort of subscription I've got, and usually one through the Fuzz Club. But the other one I've got is Third Man Records, and I never talk about that because it's a sort of a bit unusual. They're not sort of like general releases. They are specially made for it. They're bloody expensive, but there's you know, and they're a mixed bag. But it's renewed again. You know, it's sort of on one of those automatic renewals, and I forget to do anything about it. But the last one which came through is absolutely brilliant, and it is. And I'm going to show three now because I've just not mentioned them, because quite a lot of live albums. And this, sort of last year, Jack White released a new album, which he called well, you can call it anything, but he did it under the name No Name. And here you can see we've got Jack White crossed out. So this album, live album, was recorded on his tour last year, when he was touring that album. And like the Yes one, it's a best of. But you know, I can remember attending the live recording of Uriah Heep's live album in 1973 at Birmingham Town Hall, and there were wires everywhere and two huge vans out the back. The interesting part, and all these live albums were recorded somewhere. This one, and it's another treble. Basically, if you look at the list, I mean, again, it's a best of. It's got his White Stripes stuff. It's got his solo stuff, and obviously from this last album. That last album, I said at the time, was brilliant because it was a real throwback to the White Stripes. So it's sort of garage rock, blues rock, and so on. But just, I mean, this was a worldwide tour, and virtually every track is recorded in a different place. So I think what they must have done is literally, obviously they don't need the vans and the huge cables now. They're doing a digital recording at the mixing desk, and they must have recorded the full show at every single gig like that, and then have selected the best version of each song. And it is brilliant. It's a treble. It's very well, as ever with these, very well put together. It's quite unique, you've got. I won't go through the whole list on here because there's a lot of tracks on this. But it's got I Cut Like a Buffalo. It's got the White Raven, Steady As She Goes, Seven Nation Army, Dead Lees, just trying Broken Boy Soldier, Lazaretto. It's basically, it's got a Ball and Biscuit. It's got it's a greatest hits live, a bit like the Blur one. So absolutely fabulous. And then a while ago, maybe a year or 18 months, maybe 2 years ago, he produced, one of the ones was this one, and it's called Third Man Live. And it's another treble, or triple, I should say. And basically, Third Man have 3 record stores. So Jack White owns 3 record stores. One's in his hometown of Detroit. One's in his, where he lives now in Nashville, and the other one's in London. And they've each got a sort of a room where they do little, very small concerts. And this was recorded in each place. So let me go through them, I'll pull it out. Ooh. So the first was recorded in Detroit, Third Man Records Blue Stage, and it's the Zamrock Band, which is we intend. Where are we? Oh, we intend to cause havoc. So, which is an acronym for that. And which have long disbanded. They were in the 70s. But they've sort of, I think one of the members has sort of got it together and toured a little bit. So this was in May 2022. And it's brilliant. It's probably not as good as the original Witch stuff. Steve Carlson, if you're watching this, you will have had this. And obviously you've got all the Zamrock stuff, so I'd be interested to know what you think of this one. Then there's obviously Jack White himself, so he's playing at the Nashville, Tennessee. Oh, this is a really old recording. This was in 2014, and it's got some good stuff on there. Hotel Yorba's on it, which is one of my favourite of the White Stripes tracks, and that's a good one. And all these are in different colours as well. I pull them out and do that. And the last one was in London in 2022, and it's Dinosaur Jr. And it's Third Man Records Blue Basement, which is, I think, the smallest venue. And this is brilliant. I think, I mean, obviously Jay Maskis. I don't know whether it was, you know, then, or whether he spends a lot of time there. But I remember Dinosaur Jr. had a residency at, not Ronnie Scott's, but somewhere like that in London for weeks and weeks and weeks. So I don't know whether this was done at the same time, but out of the three, this is my favourite. It is really good. So that's that one. And then sort of in between those ones, we got this one, and it's, you know, again, another treble, and it's Bob Dylan and the band, 1974 live recordings, and apparently it's the missing songs from Before the Flood, which apparently was a live album sent out then. So this has got all the other stuff which they didn't put on Before the Flood. Now, I confess, I know it's sacrilege, but I'm not a great fan of Bob. I'm not a hater. My wife Marion really couldn't stand him, so we never used to listen to him. I've never bought any of his stuff. I've only listened to this once, and you know, I quite like it. It's good, but it's Bob, and you know, something about his voice I don't like much, I think. But you know, it's got Maggie's Farm on there. I don't know enough about Bob Dylan songs to know whether these ones are sort of particularly good or not. But the recording and the mastering is absolutely immaculate for an old 1974 live recording. You would never know from the quality of the pressing on this. It's brilliant. And I'm going to mention one before I go on to my last one. I thought about mentioning this, but I'm going to anyway. And it's Pink Floyd at Pompeii, which a lot of people know they've released. Now, I bought the Blu-ray. I haven't bought the vinyl LP. And this was obviously goes back to 1971, where they did that live. Well, they did. It was a film, a movie of them playing live in Pompeii, in the ancient ruins. And it's been remastered, the audio by Stephen Wilson and the video by, I can't remember who, and this is immaculate. Now, I saw it I saw the original film at the cinema when it came out in 71 or 72, actually, I think it came out, and really enjoyed it. I had it on DVD, so I've now bought this. Wilson's audio remix is superb, especially listening to this on surround sound is absolutely brilliant. Until now, they've never released the sound, let me call it soundtracks. I think that's what it is rather than a live recording. They've never released the soundtrack on vinyl. There have been some bootlegs nevertheless, but they've done that. And somehow I think, I don't really want to listen to it like that. It's not, you know, because I've got all the tracks on the album. It's something, if I'm going to do it, I want to watch the film because I remember the original, and this has been done so much better. And it's also got scenes from them in the studio making Dark Side of the Moon. So I just thought I'd mention that. The last one, I wasn't expecting to do separately, but I did talk about in my summer tag one. So if you saw that, you know, thanks for watching, but you don't need to see it again because this was a grail. It's Bebop Deluxe live in the Air Age, but it's the Hammersmith Odeon concert. The original Live in the Air Age album, which came out in 77 and I got at the time, was a much shorter one recorded in Leicester. they recorded, never released at the time. It was the whole of Hammersmith Odeon concert in there. So they finally did this, and I didn't know at the time. And it was a couple of years ago as a Record Store Day release, and so somebody told me about that, and I thought, oh, I've got to go looking for that. And I found it, and I got this from Juno Records, which is an online UK record store, and it was literally the last one they got, and I couldn't find it anywhere else except, you know, on Discogs secondhand at silly money. So you know, I got a decent sealed copy, not at silly money, and I was lucky, just got there in time, and it is a treble album, absolutely superb, from one of my favourite bands. So I did say all of that in my tag one, but if you didn't watch the tag, there you go, I've added to it. So that was a quick run through of 6 vinyl, mostly triples, one double, and the rest of them are triples, live album. And to be honest, I think live albums, you know, for whole concerts need to be that sort of length, because otherwise you're just getting bits of it. So thanks for watching. Cheers.